Have you ever felt that strange pins and needles sensation in your fingers or toes? Maybe you've noticed a tingling that doesn't seem to go away, or even a sharp stabbing jolt of pain that feels like a little electric shock running through your body. If you have, you're not alone. Millions of people experience these signals every single day, and often they don't realize what's happening inside their own bodies. These aren't just random quirks. They can be signs of nerve damage, and unfortunately, nerve damage is a silent condition. It creeps up on people, often slowly, often quietly, until one day it's too obvious to ignore. Now here's something that might surprise you. More than 20 million people in the United States alone have been diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy, one of the most common forms of nerve damage, and those are just the diagnosed cases. Imagine how many more are living with the symptoms, thinking it's just part of getting older, or just something I ate, when in reality, their nerves are crying out for help. The problem with nerve damage is that it doesn't only cause pain. Left unchecked, it can affect balance, cause weakness, interfere with digestion, and in severe cases, it can lead to permanent disability. And perhaps the scariest part is that sometimes the symptoms don't even show up until the damage is already advanced. That's why prevention and early support are so important. But here's the good news. Food can be medicine. What you put on your plate can either fuel the fire of damage or become a shield that protects and even repairs your nerves. Today, I want to take you through 5 powerful foods that science has shown can help repair nerve damage naturally. Think of it as building a toolbox for your body. Each food is like a different tool, and together they can help your nerves heal, recharge, and stay strong. So, are you ready? Let's start with one of the creamiest, most versatile foods out there, the avocado. Now I know what you're thinking. Doctor, how can that green fruit I mash onto toast really help my nerves? Well, let me tell you. Avocados are more than just a trendy breakfast item. They are packed with nutrients that act like a safety net for your nervous system. First off, avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats. Think of these as the healthy oils that keep your blood flowing smoothly, like good quality motor oil in a car engine. Why does blood flow matter so much? Because your nerves are like tiny electrical wires, and for those wires to work, they need a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients. Better circulation means your nerves can get what they need, when they need it. That means faster healing, smoother function, and less risk of further damage. But there's more. Avocados are also an excellent source of potassium and magnesium. Now, potassium is essential for nerve signaling. Without enough of it, those little electrical impulses that tell your muscles to move or your brain to think clearly can start to misfire. Magnesium, on the other hand, is like the calming friend your nerves have always wanted. It helps quiet down overactive nerve activity. Ever had restless legs at night or annoying muscle twitches? Sometimes it's your body begging for magnesium. Studies have shown that people with nerve pain often feel relief once they boost their magnesium intake. And then we have vitamin E. This is a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects the outer layer of your nerves from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress, if you want an image, is like rust forming on metal. Over time, it eats away at the protective layers, making the wires inside your nerves more vulnerable. People who don't get enough vitamin E are more likely to develop peripheral neuropathy. And guess what? Vitamin E is absorbed best when eaten with fat, and avocados provide both at the same time. Isn't nature brilliant? So how much should you eat? You don't need a mountain of guacamole every day. Half an avocado is more than enough. Slice it on your morning toast, blend it into a smoothie, or add it to a salad. It's creamy, satisfying, and it works quietly in the background to keep your nerves safe. One small habit, one big step toward protecting your future. Now you might be wondering, that's great for the body, but what about my brain and memory? Well, let's move to a fruit, so small it could fit in the palm of your hand, yet it carries incredible healing power, the blueberry. Imagine a shield, invisible, but strong, protecting your brain and your nerves from damage. That's exactly what blueberries provide. These little berries might look innocent, but inside them are compounds called anthocyanins. Think of them as tiny warriors, powerful antioxidants that not only work in your bloodstream, but can also cross the blood-brain barrier. That's rare. Most nutrients don't make it through that protective wall, but anthocyanins do, and once they're inside, they get to work. So what do? First, they reduce inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of the leading causes of nerve damage. Stress, pollution, poor diet, all of these can create a state of low-grade inflammation in your body. It's like a slow burn that weakens your neurons over time. Blueberries help put out that fire. They keep the neurons firing smoothly and even encourage the growth of new nerve cells. That's not just theory. Long-term studies show that people who eat blueberries regularly have better memory, sharper focus, and slower cognitive decline. One study published in the Annals of Neurology followed older adults who consumed blueberries and strawberries frequently. The results? Their brains aged about 2.5 years slower than those who didn't. 2.5 years just from eating berries. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to eat buckets of them. Just a small handful a day, fresh, frozen, or even dried without added sugar, is enough to give your nerves a real boost. Toss them into your morning oats, blend them into a smoothie, or snack on them straight from the bowl. Think about it. Every time you eat blueberries, you're giving your brain a spa treatment, a refreshing anti-aging rinse that helps keep you sharp, steady, and focused. And if you've ever worried about memory loss or conditions like Alzheimer's, adding blueberries is one of the simplest and tastiest protective steps you can take. But nerve health isn't only about antioxidants. Sometimes your nerves need specific building blocks, raw materials to keep their structure intact. And that brings us to a humble food you probably already have in your fridge: eggs. Ah, the egg. Simple, affordable, versatile, and yet one of the most underrated superfoods when it comes to nerve health. Let me explain why. First, eggs are one of the best sources of vitamin B12. And B12 is essential for producing and maintaining the myelin sheath. That's the protective insulation around your nerves. Picture the plastic coating around an electrical wire. Without it, the wire would spark, misfire, and eventually fail. The same goes for your nerves. Without enough B12, the myelin sheath starts to break down, leading to numbness, tingling, and even memory issues. Severe deficiency can cause spinal cord problems that are irreversible if not treated. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Eggs also provide choline, another often overlooked nutrient. Choline is the raw material your body uses to create acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter responsible for muscle control and memory. Without enough choline, your brain and muscles have trouble communicating. Ever felt foggy or sluggish, like your thoughts were moving through molasses? Low choline could be part of the reason. In fact, acetylcholine is one of the first neurotransmitters to decline in Alzheimer's disease. Keeping your levels up could provide long-term protection. And let's not forget protein. Every time your body repairs tissues, muscles, skin, or nerves, it needs amino acids. Eggs deliver high-quality protein in a form your body can use easily. So when you crack an egg in the morning, you're not just fueling your day, you're giving your body the raw materials it needs to heal. Now, you don't need to eat a dozen. 1 or 2 eggs a day is more than enough to cover your needs for choline and a good portion of your B12. Scrambled, boiled, poached, however you like them, they're a low-cost, high-impact addition to your nerve repair toolkit. And if you're vegetarian but not vegan, eggs can be your lifeline, especially since B12 is much harder to find in plant-based diets. Think of them as nature's compact multivitamin. But what if I told you there's a vegetable so bright, so vibrant, that it not only adds color to your plate, but also helps your nerves regenerate? Let's talk about beets. You've probably seen them. Deep red, earthy, sometimes roasted, sometimes pickled. Beets are more than just a side dish. They're like a natural power-up for your nervous system. The secret lies in their high nitrate content. When you eat beets, your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels and improves circulation. Now, why is circulation such a big deal for your nerves? Because nerves are living tissues. They need oxygen and nutrients to survive. Poor circulation starves them, leading to numbness, tingling, and in extreme cases, even nerve death. Beets keep that blood flowing, ensuring your nerves get exactly what they need to stay alive and well. But nitrates aren't the only gift beets bring. They're also loaded with folate, another B vitamin crucial for DNA repair and neurotransmitter production. Without enough folate, your body produces too much homocysteine, a compound that can damage blood vessels and impair nerve function. Folate keeps homocysteine in check, protecting your nerves from long-term harm. And then there are the betalains, the pigments that give beets their stunning red color. These pigments act as antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents. They reduce oxidative stress and calm inflammation, two of the biggest enemies of nerve health. Some studies even suggest that beet consumption can improve cognitive performance by boosting oxygen flow to the brain. Picture this: you eat a serving of roasted beets, and hours later, your brain is literally receiving better blood flow, your nerves are getting more oxygen, and the antioxidants are helping protect them from damage. That's a powerful image, isn't it? Beets can be eaten roasted, boiled, juiced, or even shredded raw into a salad. If you find the earthy taste strong, mix beet juice with apple or carrot for a sweeter balance. Aim for a few servings per week to keep your nervous system humming. Now, if beets bring bold color, our next food brings comfort and sweetness, and it's probably already one of your favorites, sweet potatoes. Let's finish this first half of our journey with something warm, soft, and satisfying. Sweet potatoes. These golden, orange-fleshed tubers are not only delicious, they are packed with nutrients that wrap your nerves in protection. Sweet potatoes are loaded with beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A. Vitamin A plays a central role in maintaining healthy nerve tissue. But more than that, beta-carotene itself is a powerful antioxidant. Remember oxidative stress, the rust on your nerves I mentioned earlier. Beta-carotene helps scrub that away, reducing the risk of degeneration. On top of that, sweet potatoes are rich in vitamin C. This vitamin regenerates other antioxidants in your body, giving you a sort of recycling system for protection. Vitamin C also plays a key role in collagen production, which helps maintain the structure around your nerves. Think of collagen as the scaffolding that holds everything together. Strong scaffolding means your nerves stay supported. And let's not forget potassium. This mineral is essential for the electrical signals your nerves send out. Without enough potassium, those signals become weak or erratic. Low potassium can cause cramping, muscle weakness, and nerve dysfunction. Sweet potatoes help keep those levels balanced, ensuring smooth communication between your brain and muscles. The best part, they taste amazing. You can bake them, mash them, add them to soups or stews. They're comforting, versatile, and healing all at once. One medium-sized sweet potato, a few times a week, can provide incredible support for your nerves. Of course, if you have kidney issues and need to monitor potassium, it's always best to check with your doctor. But for most people, sweet potatoes are a safe, natural way to nourish and protect the nervous system. Now let's talk about something so small you could hold hundreds in the palm of your hand, and yet they carry a nutritional punch that could make all the difference for your nerves. Pumpkin seeds. Have you ever noticed how nature often hides incredible power inside small packages? That's exactly the story here. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest plant-based sources of magnesium, and if you've been paying attention, you already know how crucial magnesium is for your nerves. It helps regulate nerve signals, calms overactive nerves, and prevents them from firing too rapidly. When your magnesium levels are too low, your nerves become jumpy, oversensitive, and that can lead to everything from restless nights to migraines, from muscle spasms to chronic pain. Think of magnesium as a soothing hand, gently resting on your shoulder, calming everything down. But that's not all. Pumpkin seeds also provide zinc, iron, and healthy plant-based omega-3s. Zinc plays a vital role in nerve repair and regeneration. Without enough zinc, wounds take longer to heal, and nerves struggle to rebuild themselves after damage. Iron, meanwhile, carries oxygen to nerve tissue. Without oxygen, nerves simply cannot fire their signals properly. And those plant-based omega-3s add an extra layer of anti-inflammatory support, protecting your nerves from the slow wear and tear of daily stress. Isn't it fascinating how such a tiny seed can hold so many essential elements? The best part is that you don't need a lot, just a handful. About 1 or 2 tablespoons can deliver these powerful benefits. Sprinkle them over yogurt, toss them into oatmeal, or enjoy them roasted as a snack. You could even blend them into a smoothie for a hidden nutrient boost. Here's a tip. If you're vegetarian or vegan, pumpkin seeds are especially important. Why? Because nutrients like zinc, iron, and omega-3s are often lower in plant-based diets. These little seeds help fill those gaps naturally, without the need for pills or supplements. So the next time you carve a pumpkin, don't throw away the seeds. Roast them instead. And remember that you're not just snacking, you're feeding your nervous system exactly what it needs to heal and thrive. Now, speaking of nuts and seeds, let's step up to one of the most celebrated brain foods in history, walnuts. Have you ever looked at a walnut and noticed how much it resembles a brain? The folds, the curves, the 2 hemispheres? It's almost as if nature wanted to give us a visual clue. This nut is brain food. And as it turns out, walnuts are not only good for your brain, they're also a fantastic ally for your nerves. Walnuts are rich in plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid. These omega-3s are the building blocks your body uses to create and repair nerve cell membranes. Without strong membranes, nerve signals slow down, get distorted, or in some cases stop altogether. Omega-3s also help maintain the integrity of the myelin sheath, that protective insulation I mentioned earlier when we talked about eggs. When the sheath is damaged, signals misfire, leading to numbness, tingling, or weakness. Walnuts help protect that sheath, keeping communication between your brain and body fast and efficient. But the benefits don't stop there. Walnuts are also packed with vitamin E, another antioxidant superhero. Vitamin E protects nerve cells from oxidative stress, that rust we talked about earlier. People with low vitamin E often develop neuropathy, and boosting intake can make a huge difference. Add to that polyphenols, compounds in walnuts that improve circulation and reduce inflammation, and you have a trifecta of nerve support. What does this mean in real life? Regular walnut consumption has been linked to sharper memory, reduced risk of cognitive decline, and improved overall brain function. In fact, a study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that eating walnuts daily was associated with improved cognitive test scores in older adults. Imagine that. Something as simple as a handful of walnuts could help you think more clearly, remember more easily, and protect your nerves from long-term damage. And like pumpkin seeds, you don't need many. Just about an ounce. That's a small handful, maybe 7 or 8 halves, is enough. Snack on them, chop them into a salad, or blend them into a smoothie. They're versatile, delicious, and protective. So far, we've talked about seeds and nuts. But what if I told you that even humble mushrooms, those little fungi growing in dark, quiet places, have their own special gifts for your nerves? Mushrooms are one of those foods that people either love or avoid. But when it comes to nerve health, they deserve a place on everyone's plate, especially varieties like shiitake, maitake, and reishi. Why? Because mushrooms contain unique compounds that are hard to find anywhere else in nature. One of these compounds is ergothioneine, sometimes called the longevity vitamin. This antioxidant is unusual because it accumulates in nerve tissue. It doesn't just float around in the bloodstream, it goes directly to where it's needed most, your brain and nerves. And once it's there, it shields those cells from oxidative stress, which is a major driver of nerve degeneration and neuropathic pain. Another group of compounds in mushrooms are polysaccharides. These not only support the immune system but also reduce chronic inflammation. Remember, inflammation is one of the silent enemies of nerve health. It slows healing, damages tissues, and keeps pain signals firing. By calming inflammation, mushrooms create an environment where nerves can actually regenerate. And let's not forget B vitamins like riboflavin and niacin. These are essential for energy production in nerve cells. Without enough of them, your nerves tire out, signals weaken, and neuropathy can creep in. Niacin deficiency, in particular, has long been known to cause nerve problems. Including mushrooms in your diet is a simple way to make sure you're covered. Here's the beauty of mushrooms. They're easy to add to almost any meal. Toss them into stir-fries, soups, omelets, or even pasta sauces. About a cup of cooked mushrooms a few times a week can provide meaningful support. And if you really want to boost the benefits, you can even try mushroom powders or extracts. Though honestly, fresh or cooked mushrooms work just as well for most people. Think of mushrooms as the quiet guardians of your nervous system. They don't shout, they don't demand attention. But behind the scenes, they're working hard to protect and strengthen your nerves. Now, if mushrooms are the quiet guardians, our next food is more like the guilty pleasure with a hidden agenda: dark chocolate. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you enjoyed a piece of chocolate and didn't feel guilty about it? Well, if it's dark chocolate, the real kind, with 70% cocoa or more, you can go ahead and savor it, because not only does it taste amazing, it also nourishes your nervous system. The secret lies in flavonoids, natural compounds in cocoa that are powerful antioxidants. These flavonoids improve blood flow, which, as we've established, is critical for nerve health. Better blood flow means more oxygen, more nutrients, and better repair for your nerve tissues. But there's another player here: magnesium. Dark chocolate is surprisingly rich in this calming mineral. Magnesium helps regulate nerve signals, reduce excitability, and ease nerve pain. If you've ever felt your nerves firing too intensely, maybe tingling, maybe restless legs, magnesium from dark chocolate can help smooth things out. And then there's theobromine, a mild stimulant in cocoa that can lift your mood. Why does mood matter for nerve health? Because chronic pain and nerve issues often drag people down emotionally. Depression and anxiety can make healing harder. Theobromine helps boost neurotransmitters linked to happiness and calm, giving you not only physical relief, but also emotional resilience. Research even shows that the flavonoids in dark chocolate improve neurovascular coupling, a fancy term for how well blood vessels and neurons work together. Better communication between the two means faster healing and sharper cognitive performance. Now don't misunderstand me, I'm not giving you a free pass to eat chocolate bars all day. A small square or two, savored slowly, is all you need. Pair it with a handful of walnuts or sprinkle some shavings over yogurt, and you have a delicious, nerve-friendly treat. Isn't it nice when something indulgent actually turns out to be good for you? And speaking of tiny but mighty foods, let's wrap up our journey with flax seeds, one of the best plant-based sources of omega-3s you'll ever find. At first glance, flax seeds don't look like much. Just tiny brown or golden seeds you could easily overlook in the grocery aisle. But don't be fooled. Inside each seed is a storehouse of nutrients your nerves desperately need. Flax seeds are loaded with alpha-linolenic acid, another plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. As we've already seen with walnuts and pumpkin seeds, omega-3s are essential for building strong nerve cell membranes and reducing inflammation. By protecting the myelin sheath and calming overactive immune responses, flax seeds help nerves send signals more clearly and recover more effectively. But omega-3s aren't the only stars here. Flax seeds are also rich in lignans, powerful antioxidants that fight oxidative stress. Think of them as little bodyguards patrolling your nervous system, neutralizing the free radicals that would otherwise eat away at your nerve cells. And here's a fascinating connection. Flax seeds are high in fiber, which supports gut health. Why does that matter for your nerves? Because recent research has shown that your gut and brain are deeply connected through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. A healthy gut means fewer inflammatory signals traveling to the nervous system, which can reduce pain and improve overall nerve health. There's one small catch though. Whole flax seeds often pass through your system undigested. To get the benefits, it's best to use them ground. Sprinkle a tablespoon or two over oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or mix them into yogurt. That way your body can actually absorb the omega-3s and lignans inside. One more tip. Flax seeds are calorie-dense, so moderation matters. About 1 to 2 tablespoons per day is plenty. Think of it as a concentrated medicine, not something you need by the cupful. With flax seeds, you're giving your nerves a daily dose of anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and regenerative support, all from something so small you could mistake it for bird food. So here we are. We've walked through 10 powerful foods, each with its own way of protecting, repairing, and strengthening your nerves. From the creamy richness of avocados to the antioxidant punch of blueberries, the protective layers built by eggs, the blood-boosting power of beets, the comforting shield of sweet potatoes, and then on to the nutrient-packed pumpkin seeds, the brain-shaped walnuts, the quiet guardians we call mushrooms, the indulgence of dark chocolate, and finally, the tiny but mighty flax seeds. Together, these foods form a toolbox for your nervous system. Each one offers a different tool: circulation, antioxidants, building blocks, calming minerals, anti-inflammatory compounds. And when you combine them, the effect is greater than the sum of the parts. Now, of course, food isn't a magic wand. Nerve damage takes time to heal, and sometimes it requires medical treatment too. But what you eat every day is the foundation. Think of these foods as your allies. They don't just reduce symptoms, they address the root causes, supporting your nerves at the cellular level. Here's a challenge for you. Pick 3 of these foods and add them to your meals for just 1 week. Notice how you feel. Maybe your mind feels clearer. Maybe the tingling eases. Maybe your energy improves. These small changes can create real results. And if you've already tried some of them, share your experience, because what works for you might inspire someone else to begin their own healing journey. If this conversation has been helpful, consider subscribing or passing it along to a friend or family member. Sometimes the best medicine is simply knowledge shared at the right time. Your nerves are remarkable. They connect every part of you, carrying signals of thought, movement, sensation, and life itself. So take care of them, nourish them, and remember, every bite is a chance to heal.